Someone will probably watch this video like, who's this imposter? I promise it's me. It's me, Cavell. I'm in here. What is that thing? It's me, Jessica. Anyways, I play too much. So welcome everybody to my channel. It's Cavell. If you're returning, welcome back. And if you're new here, I'm so happy that you're here. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how I saved to buy a house. The topic was recommended by Gabby. So Gabby, if you're watching this video, big up yourself for the idea. Okay, so let's get into it. So you often hear people tell you to buy a house. It is such a norm, especially in our community, for people to strive to buy a house. But owning a house is no joke. And just because someone tells you to buy a house don't mean it's supposed to buy a house. I don't want to know that because I know it's smart. But before we talk about how I saved to buy a house, I'm just gonna go out there and say I don't recommend anybody buying a house if you are in debt. Okay, please do not take up anything that you cannot manage. Do not be like those people where see that BMW is popular, Benz is popular, and so you decide to go finance a BMW, finance a Benz, and then when you check it out, the maintenance fee is ridiculously high and you cannot afford it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so instead of end up owning the house owns you, and we do not want that for you. Okay, I saw someone in the comments mention that a fool learn from their own mistakes and a wise person learn from the mistakes of others. Well, here is the fool. So please learn from my mistakes, and trust me, I could have done a lot of things better, but at that age, 25, foolish. So if you're not someone like myself who has the means to put down 100% down on a house, then here are some things that I did, right? So this is outside the actual requirements for purchasing a house. Please check out my video that tells you the steps that I went through in purchasing a house in Jamaica. So first things first, you need to know what you're saving towards, right? You cannot go into this thing blind. You need to have a target and aim for that target. You need to have a sense of how much the house is going to cost you, right? So is the house going to cost you 6 million Jamaican dollars? Is the house going to cost you 300 USD? Whatever it is, like, you have a goal. Then you need to figure out what is 15 to 20% of that home. I don't recommend 10% of anything because boy, I'm not a financial advisor, but I wouldn't recommend having 10% down on that house. No, the reason why I said 15 to 20% is that you're operating under the guise of inflation, right? It is kind of silly in thinking that if the house costs 9 million Jamaican dollars, know that it is going to cost 9 million Jamaican dollars in the next 3 years. If you find that out there, please, by all means, love that for you. Continue to do that, but I don't know. Someone else thinks otherwise, please go ahead and drop that in the comments. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is the things that I'm considering that I can imagine to make sense when you're trying to purchase a home. This may be an unpopular belief and may I stay for the get a youth them dream, but listen to me. You can throw a partner or a susu, whatever you call it, can be top saver, and you still cannot afford the house that you want. It's just a reality. And sometimes I see these videos on YouTube that talks about how much they're able to save on the little money they make, and I'm so impressed. Sometimes I calculate how on earth they did that based on the numbers that they provided. And I am not the best at English, but I am pretty good at math. And the math ain't mathing. May I try do the maths? And then some of them, nah, I don't. Okay, so let's assume you make $3,000 for the month and you do not have any type of expenses at all. You're not paying any light bill, any water bill, you're not paying rent, and like that. So the maximum amount of money that you can save for the month is $3,000. Say you save the maximum amount of money every single month for a year. That is $36,000 that you're able to save for the year. So the maximum amount of money based off your monthly income that you can save for the year is $36,000. Now, say you have expenses, and for the sake of simple maths, when you subtract all the expenses, the amount of money that you can save is $1,000 for the month. For the year, you can save a maximum of $12,000, right? If not all of us that's watching this video, you have expenses, and therefore you cannot save the maximum amount of money that you earn in order to move faster, closer to the goalpost, right? No, you cannot save more than what you make. And when I say more than you make, has to do with like side hustles and all those things that at least a part of the money that you make. Take or leave it, come for me or not. I'm just saying what I'm saying. So if this is something that you really want to do, saving has to become a priority. That means, say, the life where imagine for live, you're probably not gonna live that. And I'm not saying you're going to be eating noodles every single day, but what I am saying that making saving a priority means that you're cutting back and you're very vigilant about like where your money is going. I'm talking to you right now. When you make savings a priority, you're able to track where every single money goes. So now you need to have a schedule. Like how long do you plan on saving for, right? For me, a little bit different. It's like, say July, I got convinced that I was going to buy a house and I thought it made sense. And then like by the next following year, I wanted to have all the money. When you have a scheduled timeline as to how long you wanted to take it to have the money, that is going to literally determine the rate at how much money you're saving per month in order to achieve that goal. For me, one of the ways to be a little bit aggressive with my saving plan was to automate my savings. So a certain amount of money went straight to a high yield savings account so that I can make money. I chose Ally. Again, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not telling people to go put their money in Ally, but I chose Ally because the high yield savings account. And I knew it was enough of an incentive where it's a brick and mortar bank where it's so easily accessible. I have the card and I can withdraw money whenever I feel like. No, it takes some time for me to transfer the money. And then something that kind of irritated me. So it made it easier for the money to stay in the bank account. The other thing is that Ally is a high yield savings account. Therefore, I get more interest on my money than you typically would with regular well-known banks that we know. I popped some of the names up on the screen. So my money wasn't sitting there completely frozen. It was making interest on top of it. Now, this is helpful when you know you're going to purchase whatever it is like relatively soon than later. I believe CDs function in the same way, but just look at the interest rate. To be quite honest, I did not look at the interest rate with the CDs at the time. So everything else went into the checking account that I could pay my bills out of and purchase any other things that I needed. So I thought that was going to be enough, but I quickly realized I was fooling myself when I had a 1 year goal. So I had to step it up. I now realized that one stream of income was not going to do it, and I needed to acquire multiple streams of income. You have multiple streams of income coming in and you're able to designate those funds right away to your saving goals, then you're going to reach that goal so much faster than one stream of income is, right? Is one of the reasons why most time when people are buying a house, they tend to buy a house with a partner or a family member, because there's two different streams of income are coming together in order to meet that goal faster. So I was saving towards a home by myself, and when I realized this plan of having one stream of income was not getting me to my 1 year goal faster, I decided to up it, and I decided to up the stakes and get multiple streams of income. These multiple streams of incomes, they weren't passive. I actually had to put in extra labor in order to get the money from these jobs. One of the things that I did was that I was an after school coach, coaching soccer, and people, when I know nothing about soccer other than World Cup every 4 years. When I tell you, I had those kids believing I was Messi. There's no reason for me to lie, you know. Yeah, I have people can vouch for me. When I did after school, I literally used to teach the kids them soccer, and those kids really thought I was the best soccer coach ever. So other thing is that I really pressured the taxi in Jamaica. I sure did. I hear soup, soup, pressure, pressure. Under pressure, the taxi and the taxi man. Honestly, this may have been one of the reasons why it was in such bad condition, because it was just towing road. The other thing is that I sold life insurance. Do I need to say anything about that? The point is having multiple streams of income. So these are not things that you have to do, but think of like, where are some things that you can do in order to get extra income. I had coworkers who did Uber that were encouraging me to do Ubers, and me and 1099 tax forms don't really go well together. Don't make people boost, you know, and run go buy a house if they're not ready to buy a house, because at the time when I purchased a house, I was young and dumb and I made tons of mistakes. Have we reached a stage where I can be like super real with you? Okay, all right. I'm just going to throw it out there and see how it lands. So at the time when I purchased the house, not only was I stupid with money, but let's be real here. Like, who hasn't been stupid with money? I was doing as I thought to it. It sounded good. It sounded good to buy a house. It sounded good to own a house, and therefore own a house, right? And I'm telling you, please do your, like, with everything that I've been mentioning here on the platform, like, please go ahead and do your due diligence in order to figure out what is the best decisions for you. Some of the things that opened up my eyes when it comes to the decisions that I made in terms of purchasing the house has to do with a lot of the readings that I did in 2020. Like many of us, I had a lot of time on my hands in 2020, and I was reading books like You Are a Badass at Making Money, and also reading books like Rich Dad Poor Dad. And when I was reading The Rich Dad Poor Dad, boy, that book just kind of showed me up. So I was literally now holding up a mirror towards myself and just reflecting on my ideologies when it comes to money and the decisions that I've made with money. And wow, I was completely judging myself and just realizing how dumb I was with a lot of the things that I did in terms of purchasing the house. So anyways, so thank you all so much for watching this video. I hope you found value in it. I know it was very short. I don't know if y'all noticed, but your girl has 1,000 subscribers, and I am so grateful for y'all. Some of you are probably like, why she's acting like this over 1,000 subscribers? I want you to think deep within yourself. Does 1,000 people like in real life? Hello, it's a big deal. 1,000 of you really rock with me, really like my vibe, really like the information that I'm sharing, and decided to subscribe. With that being said, bye everybody.